This is TWiT.
Here's a scary thought. Phone and laptop searches at the U.S. border have quadrupled. Turns out you have zero rights if you're crossing the border, whether you're a U.S. citizen or not.
Yeah.
What exactly are they searching for? I've been seeing a bunch of headlines like that here recently, but I never dove into the details of it. You know, what is the point of searching the cell phone of just a regular person coming through?
They're big cat fans, and they want all the cat photos themselves.
You know, you say that facetiously, but I was told by somebody who repairs cars, or maybe he was a car valet parker, but that that routinely when they would get keys, they would look for USB keys attached on the key ring, and they would just copy whatever music was on there because it's a good way to get a lot of new music. So maybe that's what they're looking for.
Damn. Some scary stuff.
33,295 searches of travelers' devices in the year 2018. Carried out for a variety of reasons: intelligence gathering, tax enforcement, and criminal investigations. This is according to the EFF and ACLU. They're suing, saying these searches are often warrantless and therefore unconstitutional.
And they're targeted. Sometimes weren't there some media and press people covering the border crisis who are traveling frequently to Mexico coming back, and they were subject to more of these searches and detentions more than anybody else.
Yeah, I think what's really insidious about this is that what the legal definition of a border is, can sometimes be up to 100 miles from the actual border crossing. So I think that's really, if you live in one of these border towns, you just basically don't have the Fourth Amendment, which is really crazy.
No kidding. Scary.
And this is also the interesting thing about security too, because isn't the case like if your password, like you're using a PIN or a physical password, you could claim you don't know the password. And then this comes into the search and seizure Fourth Amendment kind of thing about how they get that password. Otherwise, they're going to detain you for presumably a long time, which for me, I'm actually fine. If anyone wants to detain me for like a week, I'm just like, that's a vacation, man. Or this is where bioauthentication comes into an issue because, as we know, the police have used people's fingers to unlock their phones, or facial recognition. They just hold it up to your face and boom, it's unlocked. So this is one of the tips where, either whenever you're dealing with the police, if you're going to be doing some, public protests, or you're returning overseas, it may be not a bad idea if you're concerned about this to disable your bioauthentication and just rely on a PIN system and just deny. I would also say a lot of modern computers today, we are living in a very cloud-based world. I'm fairly comfortable with wiping my PC, doing a fresh restart, and bringing it over the border and be like, there's nothing on there. It's out there. And they're not going to be able to necessarily get that.
If you think it's bad in the U.S., it's worse crossing into Canada. I've been told by many people. Here's an example. This is a story from today. A lawyer's phone and laptop were seized by the Canadian Border Services because he wouldn't hand over the passwords.
Yeah, a big place where this happens actually is on the train, on the Amtrak train that goes into Canada, as a lot of people get their devices seized there, not just at the car border, right, when you drive over. But yeah, I think that's a great advice, is wiping your phone, although they might want your cloud password, right? It's not that simple. But yeah, definitely they can't force you to self-incriminate. So they can't force you to give over your password. However, they can force you to give over your biometric data, which can be your fingerprint or your face. The courts are kind of undecided right now. But yeah, don't leave Face ID on if you're crossing over the border and don't really want your phone looked at. But yeah, these device seizures are definitely really troubling.
Yeah, I mean, in the U.S. at least, I think it's believed that they can't force you to. They can't say you have to give us a password. They can hold you in airport jail for a little while, but ultimately they have to let you go. Apparently, that's not the case in Canada. They could take your device and keep it.
And see, I'm their formidable opponent here because I review laptops for a living. I have a stack of laptops, so they can seize as many as they want. I'll just come back with another one. It's totally phones.
But I believe, and if I don't think I'm wrong here. You can correct me, Louise. If once you've given a device to law enforcement and they take it out of your presence, actually in this case they would keep it for weeks and then mail it back to you, you should not use that device ever again, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard if you're a marginalized group and you can't just go out and buy another device, right? But I would recommend, if you can, using the resources to get it looked at. But they shouldn't be able to put a tracking device or anything on that without a warrant. But
so far, it hasn't happened to me because I'm an old white man and I don't look like trouble. But if I were Daniel Rubino, I'd be very careful.
And I shouldn't even have facial hair when I travel.
Yeah, it's the facial hair, and you should never leave the country, Ant, because
pretty much.
Yeah, you look scary. You really do. Ant's buff. He's scary.